Who doesn't want to be responsible? Who doesn't want to make sure that they can try and leave industry in a better state than what it was when they first were involved in the industry? We want to be looking at things that we can grow in our business. You know, it can give us a competitive edge in generating business that couldn't otherwise be generated from various companies, and is the feel-good factor for us and our staff and everyone who's involved in the business.
In here we've got shrink wrapping from...
The team at Complete Colour Printing have been using a rigorous waste management program for the past 5 years, but are always looking for ways to refine their waste even more.
Our pressure room chemicals, they again go off to an environmental agency where they reuse the chemical that they can use, and those that they can't use are sent off to the mines up in northern Queensland and burnt as fuel again.
So this is sort of broken down, is it?
It's broken down.
Yes.
It goes through a filtering process.
6 years ago, the plan to go green was purely a management decision. These days, the whole process is driven from the bottom up by a staff Enviro committee.
This unit will actually save us 278,000 litres of water a year. That sludge actually has water sitting underneath it, and rather than go into the sewerage system, it gets recirculated back through the processor time and time again.
Part of our environmental committee that we have highlighted this particular product on the marketplace and put it to Tim and I, and we went with it. It's a great initiative.
They've also found that going greener doesn't have to break the bank.
We have approximately 25 bins that are collected every day by Visy.
So is there money in that?
Oh, definitely. We get a return on that per tonne, and it works for us.
One of their most progressive initiatives is the plastic recycling program, offcuts that come back to them in the most unexpected form.
All the plastic wrapping that we get off the pallets, all plastic wrapping that we encounter in the whole production process of printing and finishing. These black canisters here, they'll go into these bags as well. They get ground down into little granules. From the little granules that we actually get, we're now going to be converting back into plastic furniture for staff canteen area.
The objective is not just to find the most sustainable way to save the planet, but to save money in the process.
With the advent of the new factory, we're looking at putting in a new Technotrans system. Technotrans system will basically recycle 70% of the used chemicals that we actually send out for somebody else to process.
It's about $95,000 to put the unit in, and we look at an ROI, return on investment, of about a 3 to 4 year, and they're just part of the environmental processes that you put in place that have long-term gain for you.
Looking at a company like yours, we're trying to probably follow in your footsteps and bring in some of those initiatives to our own place. So.
Daniel McKenna and Matthew Kennedy want to become greener, but need some direction on how to get the ball rolling.
The first thing to point out is it's got to be a thing that's driven from management, from the top. Yep. If you get it driven from management as a top-down approach and you get your staff involved, it'll then evolve and become a bottom-up. Speak to them and let them know that you want to implement environmental processes in your business, and ask them as to things that you can instigate in the business to make it more environmentally responsible. Your recycling of all your metal, and that's fantastic. I've seen that. You're doing a great job of that.
The water recycling side of things, apparently you do a fair bit of that?
We have a fair bit with water recycling. If you just look at your machinery, anything that uses water, get manufacturers of that equipment or get other companies that are involved in water recirculation and ask them to come in and tell you what they can do for you. You'll find 9 times out of 10 you don't need to put perfectly fresh water back into a machine each time.
Area where they can come.
We built our factory 9 years ago.
Yep.
We're just extending it at the moment, and part of our extension is we're putting in a water tank. We're capturing about 5,000 litres. We believe the tank that we put in, it's actually going to be an above ground tank. We want it to be visual, and it's going to service the toilets of the new factory area, and we're going to look at piping that back to the toilets of the other areas of the factory.
This is a batch oven. This one's not a high user of gas, but this one here is. So is the whole outlay all in one shot, or have you just done it step by step to get you there?
Well, we did it step by step, mainly because of the implementation process. You've got to make sure that things work as you do it on each particular process. There are other things that we want to do. We've got future things that we really want to bring into our business. We want to get involved in the latest technology of solar energy, because we see energy as probably the most important thing with regards to the environment. So you just look at your ROI on each thing, and and implement it into your business, you know, probably from your smaller things to your larger things. And it doesn't matter, the smaller thing like the vegetable waste and the apple cores and all that, basically your composting, that's a very small cost for such a great gain. So it doesn't matter whether something's big or small, anything you introduce into the business is important.
Still to come, the energy audit that not only saves you dollars but makes perfect green sense.